I'm Bill Hopkins. So, this summer we went to the AAW symposium in Portland. It was a blast, but, watched several demonstrations. But one of the demonstrations I watched was Ali Avicera turning these little scoops. And boy, he just made it look easy. I'm gonna give one of these a shot. Turns out it's not as easy as it looked, and there's been a little bit of a learning curve with this. But I've practiced a lot. I had that box right there is kindling and this sort of thing. But in researching this, I came out with, it looks like there's 3 different ways to do this, okay? Alan Stratton has a YouTube out, and he modified Ali Avicera's technique a little bit, and it just is a little more reproducible in my hands. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. It's a cute little project. These little scoops are, pretty neat. They utilize a lot of the stuff that we've learned in a lot of the demos from last year. You need to turn a sphere. There's some kind of unique chucking activities and some hollowing and some eccentric turning, multi-axis turning. But basically all of these things are just a little ball on a stick, like a Tootsie Pop. There's 3 different types of scoops that I'm going to introduce you to, and I'm going to do sort of the different parts of doing this, and you can add them together because some of them overlap, and I only have an hour to kill. But the eccentric scoop, and then there's a 2-for-1 scoop and an inside-out scoop, and those are my names. They're not, if you look them up, you won't see much. The eccentric scoops are these little guys, and they're turned on 3 different axes, and they're really kind of fun. The 2-for-1 scoops, again, it's a ball on a stick, and it's cut in half, and you get 2 for 1. These inside-out scoops, I have another video that was up on our website where I tried to figure this out myself. It was kind of interesting, but I have some examples of all of them up here in front if you want to take a look at it later. So you need a couple of gizmos to turn these. I found it makes it a little easier. So one are these cool little jaws here will hold 1.5 inch blank. The regular 2-inch one, it just doesn't work very well for me. To make the chuck, which is sort of adjustable, not, it's got a little bit of a range, but you get a chunk of nylon off of Amazon, you cut it in half, put it on a screw chuck, turn yourself a tenon on the end, and this is kind of what it looks like when it turns. These little, hairs come off, and it turns pretty well. You drill a hole in the middle of it, and cut out a little wedge for the handle. And I don't know if you can see on this last slide to the right, there's some saw cuts so that when you compress it, it will, cinch down on whatever it is that you're trying to, this keeps falling off. It'll cinch down on whatever you're trying to hold. But it's worked pretty well. It's got some things. So the first thing I'm going to talk about are the eccentric scoops. Okay, and this is kind of what I hope to demonstrate. This is what you do. Okay, you take the billet, you turn it round, you get it down to about 1.5 inches. You cut a tenon on one edge like this.
Damn, you're fast.
It's practice. Lots of practice, okay? And chucks. That never quite runs perfectly true on my lathe, so I have to readjust it. But then we use the octagon technique, and this is something that John taught us. You figure out the distance to the edge is 0.293 times the diameter. The width of each panel of the octagon that you turn is 0.414 times the diameter. In this case, the edge is about 16 millimeters. It turns out the inside of that live center is about 15, so you can just estimate pretty quickly. There it is. There's the octagon. Now you're just putting these other little dividers and it turns out that even though this went pretty quick, it does take a bit of time. So I'm going to start there. So I'm glad you all paid attention to that. I just used that little gauge that I cut an 1.5 inch hole out of to look for any out around places. This is a good time to finish that too. So kind of sand it and finish it. Go through the different. This actually gets to stay up for that. Then you put it on again on the drive center off, and you lower it about 3/8 of an inch from the actual center that you started with, and do the eccentric part of the handle. And you can kind of get a feel for it in those pictures, and we'll see it pretty closely when we're here. So when you're
fast.
well, you know, it's a practice. That's all it is. You know, it's by the time you get to your 50th one, they go pretty well. But they're fun little projects and they're useful. You know, they make great gifts, and most people look at them and go, "What is that?" You know, and you have to explain to it. But it's a great little coffee scoop. The bigger ones work for flour, what have you. You put this in the chuck, cut off the nubs. The nice thing about this little chuck is you can measure how thick the bottom is. Wouldn't that be cool when you're turning a bowl? I used a spindle gouge to cut these because it's a little too big to get a bowl gouge in there, and a scraper to kind of smooth out the inside. Once again, sand it and finish it. And then just use a little mandrel that Kevin showed us last time, and sand off the nub. So this is our little thing. I've gone ahead and I've turned this. I put the ball right here. Are we on it? Yeah. So I put the ball. This little cup center right here is just. This thing is just a little turned. It's just a little turn cap that I drilled out that fits over the live center. And you can use it to check for roundness too. So. Okay, nice. Okay, so when you look at this, I like concentric rings in the bottom of my bowl. So you pick a side that you want. I think I'll choose this one. And here's the actual center that I used to turn this. And then just below that, about 3/8 of an inch or so, I'm going to poke another hole.
Hey, Bill.
Yes,
By concentric rings, do you mean by the grain?
by the grain, right. So those are grain rings. So, okay. Now I have another hole. More ways to screw up. So here was our original center on this when I turned it. Now I'm putting it off center and trying to keep these concentric rings up on top. You know. So at this point in the you want to cut a cove in here, and the idea is when you're cutting this cove, it's to make this part of the handle. Turn it up slowly. Initially, you're cutting a lot of air. Moving a little spindle there, up and down, just because nothing.
What speed are you at?
This is 1500. You can turn it up. This is a piece of Fairgrounds maple, so it's pretty soft. ABC, right? Now the neck of this little scoop kind of blends into the bowl. We'll turn this down just a little bit. You always need to watch your fingers. Always turn the lathe off before you move the banjo. So John Wells, John Wells once said, he goes, you can always just sand it into shape too. So I'm going to make a little bit of dust, but not much. But a little bit of the tool marks and stuff. And with a little sanding, you can see that this smooths out pretty easily. And this is probably where you want to put some finish on that. You know, if you wanted, you know, you can just use just about anything. Although this isn't food grade, supposedly. This is cellulose sealer from Mylands, and you can just wrap it on there. And you know, a lot of times, you know, it dries instantly is why I'm using it. And then you can also put a little bit of abrasive wax. I'd be giving Larry a shout out right now, but I couldn't get the lid off his stuff. But it works really well. So that's kind of the idea. So you can kind of see this starting to take shape. I have a long part of the handle that hangs down, and you know, the neck of this thing is right here that you got to turn later, but it's like, you know, it's starting to look a little bit like my scoop. I want to do so. Just paint. My bag into this thing. You want to put it back on its side and lock it down. We're going to turn the neck, and we're also going to turn the tail.
Yes.
I didn't mean to make you yell. Wouldn't it be easier to turn the neck before you did the offsetter?
You got to kind of blend it in. So I'm going to use a little 3/8 spindle gouge here. Okay, I got that at about 2200 right now. Might be too much. What I'm kind of trying to do is this part of the handle here where it swoops up, I want to kind of turn until that sort of flattens out. And then if you go any further, you're going to have problems, like it's going to fly off. All right, sand that and go ahead and finish it right now. That's not too bad. Now we'll work on the tail a little bit. So you're going to want this tail to kind of go like this, right? Once again, try to get it about that high and bring it down. And then everything works out. Can you see the ghost there? Nope. Nope, no ghost. Oh, because if you're looking straight down on it, you can see the ghost pretty well. And you can see it in the video.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on. Like the priest said, you're not making mistakes, you're not trying. Yeah. Let's take a look at that. See where we're at. Okay, see that's all fat sticking out of the back, and I'm shooting for a scoop that's a little flatter on the back here. And you can sand it off when you sand the nub off. You can flatten that out, okay?
Could you revolve that around once slowly so I can record it? Perfect.
So far there, well, it's not perfect. Although that is my intention, right? So I'm going to take one more peek at that. Maybe just one more pass. Yeah, that's
One more run before the lifts close.
yeah. That's it. It's always the last run, right?
Medic. Right.
Yeah, that's good. So, too many tools. And then you can just part it off. And this one has a little bit of a bump on the back that I just sand that off at the end. It's nice. Like this particular chuck is about 1.5 inches, and it'll adjust a little bit each direction. Don't forget there's a handle in there. Yeah, this part. Now, if you take a look at this, this is the. Am I good here? Yeah. So you want to make sure that you cut the bowl on this side, and then when you hold the thing, the hand kind of like goes away from you. So I'll just put this in my little chuck here. Keep my fingers crossed. See, my collar is just a little bit big, but you can. Sometimes they pop out when they're halfway done. You want to try and center them. So you can use this little cup center to kind of press it in there and make sure everybody's seated. And you can use that to put it back in if you want. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty solid. Probably too solid. I'll probably leave dents in it. You want the center of what you're cutting to be like right at the height. And you want,
Right at the height of your cutting edge?
yeah, right at the height of the cutting edge. And you want, when you're this far enough away that you're not up on the belly while you're trying to support it. And if you got this a little bit of ways, it gives you a little margin of safety because this is going to be spinning. That wasn't a perfect sphere. You can see it now. I love it. So I found that kind of hogging this out works pretty good. Without the light, you can't see the ghosts very well. Last night, last night I was doing, just doing a couple more. And, yeah. And I stuck my finger in there. I got this little cut, only because the handle broke off. And
One thing you could do is put some blue tape on it so you can see it.
yeah. Normally you can see it if you have the light on it like this. You can kind of see the thing.
That's okay. That's okay. We're okay with that.
Yeah, well, it's me that I'm worried about. Honestly, I love you guys, but. So I'm getting down close to where the hand is. So this wicked thing here that gave me when I got my lathe turned out to be handy for this. Okay, so I'm right at the center and I'm flat. And I'm just using it like a negative rate scraper. You want to approach this kind of slow because you can try it out. Darn it. Okay, so you can see I'm starting to hit the handle here. And I like to use this to kind of blend the neck of this into the there you go. Can you see that okay there, where it's kind of blended in? You can get the bowl so it sort of scoops in by angling the handle out a little bit. Just need to turn around it. That makes sense. I have a drill here. These are pulled the hole in the elbow. So, I mean, it's pretty easy when you're doing this, you know, like if you can stick your fingers in this, it's really not going to go bad. So, but you should do that thing.
Show us.
I have to keep reminding myself, you know, that this is like it's there, you know, even though it's kind of invisible. So, you know, it's like you know, sometimes you must become the goals.
Yeah. You get to keep it.
How do you check the deck?
You just know. You know, if you see light, you've gone too far. You know, when you one of the easy ways to do it is to drill the hole, you know, to the depth that you want ahead of time, and then you see the bottom of the hole, you're there. But the nice thing about this little chuck, if you can see this, is that you can actually get a measuring device in there. It looks like I got like, you know, half an inch left or something, so. You guys get to watch more paint dry, right? Especially if you can't see it yet. When you can line the bevel and cut it like you did there. Check that again. It's still pretty thick. You drill the hole ahead of time, you know, it's just a little easier to gauge it. I think that's built out pretty well. All right. And just get in there, run at about 500 or 600 RPMs. You can kind of get up and you can kind of get the handle a little bit. Finish it with some wax and some whatever it is that you're using. You can use bold finish on this too. It just takes longer. Yeah, this one's a little thick on the walls and stuff, but it's not bad here.
Yeah, she's a better kid. I don't want to take her.
Okay.
I just want to
So there's one, okay?
But wait, there's more.
There's more. Yes, this is good.
It's what I made earlier.
So if you're going to do the 2 for 1, it's pretty similar. These are all like the 2 for 1. Let's bring them over here. We can see them. But oops, these are already finished. So this is the 2 for 1. Go ahead. You can pass those around. So basically, what you do is you turn this deal on one axis, so that you're here on the with the cup center, and and leave a little nub here, and you turn these on 2 centers, so it's like this. And then I made this little sled for my bandsaw. Okay, good. All right, and you push this through the bandsaw, and you split it, and this keeps it. You can hold it down while the blade's passing here, so it doesn't flip like that, and then you get 2 pieces, and this is what they look like. They're just these little flat bowls again. Yes?
Couldn't you use like a paper joint?
You can use a paper joint.
Together, then
You can
pop them apart.
you can pre-cut them, but this will not fit in this chuck. I mean, this chuck is a 2-inch chuck, and this thing is like 1 inch and some. Yeah, so you got to come up with. Yeah. I could turn myself another jam chuck if I wanted, or I can just one of the jaws off here. Now this has a few more consequences. when you if you hit your finger, this is the one that I hit my finger with last night. If you're going to drill it, it's a little easier to put a little starter hole in it and to find the center. And it's probably getting somewhere close to the bottom.
No, it's fine.
Are you guys enjoying this?
Actually,
Somebody else up your job? Sanding this is also a trip. And you really got to watch your knuckle. I think you could probably put the sandpaper on the end of a little stick, and it might be safer. But God made you 10 fingers. And that's kind of the.
Well, then at least use your pinky.
Yeah. There's a thumb. Once again, sand and finish, and then these little this end of the handle. It's nice to make it sort of taper away, and that gets rid of the nub that's left. And so you can do that on your bandsaw by just sanding away, and the nub goes away, and it gives it kind of a nice little curve to the handle, which is sort of pleasing. Here's another one. I have a backup video, or I can show you a little bit of the inside out. So I'm going to take out another jaw on this. Hardly anything left. It's always important to take out 1 or 3. Okay, so
You know, how strong do you want your coffee compared to
you're right. So this is how you do the inside out. Now the difference is with these is that you cut the bowl first and then turn the handle. Look, can you say something? Bunch of them. Same deal, cut the bowl. When you're doing these, you want to turn this bowl maybe a little thicker than some of the others. So you turn the bowl. You know, this is kind of what we did. We turned this, and then you change the axis. You don't turn it right on the center. The handle is turned off to the side here a little bit. It's dropped down. So the radius that you're turning around is this radius right here. And so that means this outside is the outside of the corner. This is the bowl that I turned around the actual center. So this one, like another hole down here, if you put it too far down away from the actual center, bad things happen. It's important when you're turning this bowl, when you're setting it up, that you leave room for this nub, because this point from this will be in the side of your bowl otherwise. Now stepping aside, because so when I do carpentry too, it's like if it doesn't work, I just get a bigger hand. Oh, no, this is probably a little bit more.
You can't put it on too tight or you'll break the cup there. Well, that's pretty fat.
Yeah, I mean, that's. I've done good things. And I turn the handle down a bit for this, just because to limit the vibration. Now, when I do the bowl, there, so you can see the ghost. See the ghost of the bowl area. Okay, very good. So I will stop it because I want to see. So you can see that I'm getting round on the bottom. Still, no, it's not. I got plenty of thickness on the bottom, but it's almost rounded off. And I know that I basically didn't center it. I didn't center that hole exactly around the bowl. So it's been a little funny. Oh, look at that. Took a chunk out. I went too far on that side. You're not making mistakes, you're not trying. So. Trying to cut it out. Okay. So anyway, let's get that. That's the. Oh, look at that. Took a chunk out. I went too far on that side. You're not making mistakes, you're not trying. So. Trying to cut it out. Okay. So anyway, let's get that. That's the idea. Is we'll have a chunk out of it.
I said a small job.
Anyway.
Thanks.